welcome. Thanks. That's loud.
Yeah, it's weird that it does that. Go ahead.
Okay, so welcome everybody. I appreciate you guys being here with us this evening. I'm super passionate about this subject matter. So I'm excited to share a little bit about this with you because no matter what line of service you're in, you're going to find a lot of benefit with this, especially when it comes to marketing and to really leverage and propel your services. Okay, So I want to first and foremost introduce myself. My name is Dana. I am a licensed esthetician now going on 16 years. And I'm super passionate about this subject matter because I know for me, when I first brought Young Living in to really leverage and propel your service. When I first brought Young Living into my practice, I found myself kind of at a crossroad where it's like, I had these oils that I loved and I used with my family and it was great. And then I had this thriving spa business that was doing great things. And of course I would use stuff here and there, but I didn't really know and understand how to marry the two of them and actually expand to give my clients a better experience. And so a lot of what we're going to talk about this evening, I want to talk directly to our practitioners, our coaches, our professionals, because maybe you too have heard about oils or you've heard about natural solutions and you're like, oh, that's great, but I don't really see how it quite fits. And here's the thing, if you're anything like myself, I just knew that I already was working very hard to craft my practice, right? And I didn't have time to sell anything. I didn't have time to retail or do anything that felt extra. And so a lot of what we talk about this evening is going to really help you appreciate the science behind marketing and even where our five senses kind of come into play. Next. So neuromarketing. I would love for anybody to raise their hand if they've even heard of the term neuromarketing. If not, that's okay. But just as the name suggests, it's all about thinking about the brain. Okay. And this is something that honestly and truthfully, most of your big name companies are already doing, right? They're already doing that. There's a reason why certain companies have different colors for their advertisement, right? There's a reason why their ads will look a certain way. Things that you'll get smell a certain way. All of that has to do with them understanding what is going on in the brain with their branding and how that's going to affect you. Okay, so here's the reality, guys. 90% of all buying decisions are made subconsciously. I want you to think about that, guys. 90%. So the majority of the buying that people do, they don't even think about it, right? There's either a feeling or there's an emotion attached to something and they purchase, okay? So I want you to think about that even as a small business owner or a practitioner or a coach, right? If people are going to be drawn to you through emotions and some science, right? How can you maximize? How can you help expand on that, okay? Human beings process visuals 60,000 times faster than text. That's why it's important to include pictures in your content, okay? Up to 70% of the time, we struggle to get customers' attention, both offline and online. And many of the times it is because we are not manifesting and we are not taking hold of their five senses, okay? If you think about it, approaching branding from a scientific perspective makes a lot of sense, particularly when you consider how much work we put into influencing the human brain. Your logos and visuals are designed to evoke specific emotional responses, just as your content marketing efforts attempt to establish loyalty among your customers. It's safe to say that since marketing began, professionals in the branding industry have been using and understanding human motivation and behavior to create products, services, logos, campaigns that appeal to the right customer. We've even used strategies to help identify ideal user personas. Using the right demographics and psychographic information, the more we can learn about our customers from a scientific perspective, the more we can adjust our marketing campaigns and advertising strategies to appeal to the right group and minimize wasting money, okay? So if you've explored marketing before, then there's a good chance you've already used some form of neuroscience marketing without even realizing or knowing it. So what we're gonna talk about again, next slide, is the 5 senses of marketing and in the industry, okay? So we're gonna go through each one of those senses and see how you might best be able to not only capitalize on that, but also draw in your ideal person, okay? So I want you to, even while we're going through some of these things, I want you to think about yourself. Think of some of the brands that you use, right? What about that company draws you to it, right? Is it a certain color? Is it a certain fragrance? For example, when I was working at a spa, one of the brands was Orbe. If you're familiar with Orbe, raise your hand. Say yes, yes. They actually patented a fragrance to go in all of their shampoos, conditioners, and body care, right? So that every time you had or smelt that smell, it would evoke memory in your brain to think of that company, okay? So I want you to think about some of those things. And as we go through these, think about how people are marketing to you and drawing you in, and how you might be able to do the same to get your ideal person. So let's first talk about sight. So sight is that first of the 5 senses that we want to discuss. And when we think about sight, I want you to walk through the entire process of your clients and your patients, okay? You should visualize, what does it look like when they have to book an appointment, right? What does it look like when they have to call? What does it look like? How is the process? What do they see, right? What does it look like when they come into your space? What does it look like when they are dealing with you one-on-one, right? Maybe it's on Zoom right now, or maybe it's in person right now. And one of the biggest ones when it comes to sight, next slide, is our social media, okay? So when we think about social media, I want you to think, what do people see? Does it correlate and correspond to what they would see when they're with you in person? So if you notice in this slide, there's 3 different pictures, okay? And this isn't a social media class, but when it comes to neuromarketing, this is super, super important. So you'll notice there's 3 different pictures that I have put up there. All of them are on my IG. If you scroll deep enough and go follow me, you'll find all 3 of these pictures. If you notice that first picture on the far left bottom, it's a very beautifully curated photo, right? Anybody would say that that picture looks amazing. But if you notice, this is when metrics actually matter, because your audience is trying to tell you what they want to see more of and what it's cute, but they're not as interested in. So if you look at the analytics on that particular post, you'll notice that it had 40 some likes, maybe 43, okay, down there, maybe 43. But the numbers that are most important is if we look at the post insights. So according to that post, right, it reached 975, 35% weren't following me before. Okay, that's fine. It gave 1,067 impressions. So what that meant is that 1,000 people came across my information. But the fact that only 43 actually stopped and said, I like this, right? We want to keep people looking at our information, right? So now we flip over to the far right, and you notice something a little bit different in this picture, right? Another nicely curated photo, but this time I'm in the picture, right? So now neuromarketing, right? Neuroscience, these people are putting a person with the brand. And so when they see that person with the brand, notice what it did analytically that actually is a little bit more of an indication of its reach, okay? So if you notice, the first post that we talked about, it had 975, so it was a lot more people, right? This one only has 852, but if you notice, 14 out of that looked at my profile. Well, what is a profile on your Instagram, right? That's where people get all the information they need about you, right? Also, 2 people said, you know what? I like this post so much that I actually want to save it for later and I'm going to come back to it. I had 119 people instead of 43 actually say, you drew me in and I like this information enough to give you a heart. Okay. So again, that's huge, right? So now we're getting into metrics that actually matter, okay? Because people are taking action from what is happening. And if you notice, it says 18 actions taken from this post. That's the number that matters. That's the number that we want because of what they saw, it drew them in. And then in that last photo, you notice a very similar thing. So this time, especially when we look at that other one with me in it, it had 945 that it reached, okay? But what's the difference between me in the first photo and me in the second one that we're talking about? So now not only am I in there, but now I'm looking at you, right? I'm giving you eye contact as if my caption is me specifically speaking to you. So what happened in this indication? And some of it, it's kind of covered, but again, one person said, I like this information so much that I'm going to save it for later. But what is even more important is that 11 shares. So 11 people said, not only do I really like this information and what I'm seeing, but I also want other people to share it. So when we market, right, we want to not only get fierce, loyal customers, but we want them to bring their audience to want to get to know us and our brand as well. And so with that, you see that it had about 152 likes on it. And again, those metrics can kind of wane. Also, it's covered a little bit, but people clicked on the website. 29 actions were taken just from that post. So that's just looking at one of those senses and how you drew someone in, but you drew the right type of people just by switching up a few things that you might have done online. IG does not tell you who shares your posts. They only show you how much has been shown. There are some metrics where you can kind of investigatively figure out who is liking some of your stuff. Usually if they tag you when they share it, then you can tell. But some of these shares could simply be a share where they shared it to, like, I could share something to my husband's messenger or something like that. I wouldn't know, even though it shows up that it was shared, who shared it and where they shared it. So next, let's go into that second sense. I want to talk about hear. So when we talk about hearing, what we hear, what our patients and clients and customers hear, this is so important. But it starts with something that I think a lot of people don't realize or think about, and that is, what do you speak over your business? What do you speak over your services, right? It's so important that we speak life over our business. It's so important that we speak life over our practice. And I love that it's called a practice. So we are always, as professionals, striving to get better, right? We want to strive to continue to bring more to our clients, our patients, our customers, right? So what do you hear yourself saying about your business? What do you hear yourself saying about your clients, right? What is your staff and clients saying, right? Have you ever been in a area maybe where people are gossiping, right? Or there's a lot of negativity or negative talk, right? That's not something that's going to want to keep drawing people in. I even think about, so for me being from the beauty industry, right? If I was doing a facial and I want someone to relax, right? The sounds that I want these people to hear is going to be different than if I want you to be upbeat and dancing, right? So it matters what they're receiving when it comes to hearing. That third sense I want to talk about is touch, okay? So touch is another super, super important one. And when we talk about touch, I want to talk about even simple things like what products are you using, okay? What products are you using in your services? And I'm not just talking about, okay, I was an esthetician, so the products that I'm using in facials. What products are you using in the bathrooms, right? What products are you using diffusing or just certain little things? What products are you using? Because this is all connected to touch. And as a professional, your clients, your patients that are coming to you, they look to you as the authority, right? So if you're not reading the labels for them and you're not advocating for quality for them, then they're not going to know that there's a difference. So sourcing and sustainability matter. Support companies that support people, animals, and our environment. As professionals, our clients rely on us to advocate for them. They trust the products we recommend and use are truly the best for them. So sometimes I'll have professionals that I work with or I talk to, and they'll feel like, well, I don't want to offer this because it's a little bit more expensive, right? Understand when you build the value in what you're using, again, even if it's something as simple as the hand soap in the bathroom, right? But you're giving them quality and you're giving them a value when it comes to that touch, it's going to, in the long run, actually save you more money. So when you think about the skin, it's not truly a protective barrier from toxin exposure. In fact, in some instances, dermal absorption can be more harmful than some of the other ones. So it does not have the filter of the nose or the mouth. Neither does it have the filter of the digestive system. So it matters what we're using with our clients, what we're putting on their skin, what we're massaging them with. We want to make sure that whatever that touch is, it's going to, again, create an experience for them. It's going to be memorable for them. And it might be something that's super unique where it touches them in a way that they want to keep coming back over and over and over again. Another thing when we talk about evoking emotions and touch, how do you emotionally touch and connect with your audience? I want to play a short video because it's a little kind of like a vulnerable video of mine. But I want you to think about how is your brand reaching the hearts of your listeners?
Sorry.
So I was always born working for everything. My husband hates it when I say this, but I don't believe that I have any natural abilities or natural talents. Because I struggle every single day seems like a fight. But grit is passion and perseverance in spite of the obstacles.
So this is a note to myself. Today my passport came to come and go to South Africa, and I was just reflecting on everything, and like, Dana, this is a note to you, future Dana. Like, just keep going. Just keep going. When all the self-doubt, when all the worries, when you can't foresee it working out, just keep going, because like, the reality is the impossible is possible, right? The only limits that we put on ourselves are the ones that we, and even when at times you don't believe in it, like, the vision was given to you for a reason, right? So cherish that. Like, don't let go of that. So I was just thinking about that because I think it's super, super important. And maybe one day somebody else will hear this too, and they'll know that, ugly cry and all, like, you were made for more. You were made for better, and it's not going to be easy, and that's okay. Like, it's not that it's easy, it's that it's worth it. It's worth it, worth it, worth it. I literally had like $0, right? And I'm like, I need to purchase this plane ticket to go to South Africa. And I just prayed and prayed, and I let go of it. I was able to actually let go, and I worked in harmony.
I've always felt like an alien. Concepts never came easily for me, but I always had vision and forward thinking. The problem was I didn't always have the confidence for the execution. My entire life I felt like I showed up for everyone. If you ask me to do something, my first thought is, how can I make this work, right? When I took the leap of faith, I thought those closest to me, they would show up the same way that I always showed up for them. But here's the thing, it's not always the reality. I could work a job and feed myself. I can start a business, I can write a book, and maybe I'll eat a little bit more, right? But instead, what I decided to do is start a networking business and a resource through my book. Because what truly feeds my soul is helping and impacting the lives of others. If I sell you an oil, you might feel better for a little bit, right? But if I educate you and I show you how to use that oil, I've empowered you. Your lifestyle changes, things improve, and now you have the skills and the knowledge to go help other people. That's called impact.
Now I'm going to South Africa, right? Like, it's crazy to me. Like, I don't feel like I even have like a strong enough team. I'm not a good enough leader. Like, I don't feel like I have the things, but I know that that's where I'm supposed to be. And the constant confirmation of that, I need to keep going. So, keep going. This entire like 3 years have been like probably the hardest of doing all the things that are hard, right? But if we don't do hard things, right, we never grow. Like, we cannot get beyond. We cannot get where we're trying to go, where we're supposed to be. It's not even what you're trying to do. It's just living to the potential of who you're supposed to be, right? Like, that is the reality of it. Like, nobody else has to see it. Nobody else has to understand the vision. It's just keep going. Like, keep going. So, my hair looks crazy. I look crazy. But, like, I just want you to remember this moment. The next time, like, it gets so hard and you want to give up, like, keep going. Just keep going.
When I first wrote Kinky Locks, I wanted a resource for everyone, but I was nervous about putting a little black girl on the cover of my book. I could create a hair product and your hair might look nice, but if I educate you on hair and the dangers of ingredients and products, I've empowered you. Hairdressers, barbers, estheticians, stay-at-home moms, they're exposed on a daily basis to toxic chemicals, and they're shortening their lives. But if I educate you, that empowers you, and that's called impact.
So I want you to think about, how are you touching and impacting your audience? How are you touching those that come to you for services? Because that's going to be an important part of your brand, your marketing, and really helping them to comprehend and understanding what you stand for. So we have two more senses that we're going to get into before we conclude. So let's next go into taste. And sometimes this can seem like a strange one from a branding and marketing standpoint, but it is so, so important when it comes to being a professional, being a practitioner. There's certain things and certain elements that make or can create an experience for you to stand out just a little bit different than other people. Next slide. So I love that Young Living has a variety of ways to do that. So one thing that when I had my spa, everybody got a sachet of Ninja Red when they came in for a service. And the reason being is I knew that it would create an experience for them, right? And it doesn't even have to be super elaborate. I also worked at a spa before where they had cucumber water, right? So it was just something unique that, again, it kept the person thinking over and over and over again, where did I get that cucumber water from, right? We have so many versatile things like the YL Vitality Drops and even the Vitality Oils that you can even make kind of like a customized bar for your patients and your clients, that it's going to create an experience that actually stays on their palate, right? They're going to want to keep coming back to it over and over again. Or simple things like teas and coffees, something that, again, creates an experience for the person and they want to relate you and your brand to that. So our last sense that we're going to talk about is smell. And we uniquely kept this for last because this is probably one of the most impactful senses that you can use when it comes to marketing and when it comes to neuromarketing and neuroscience, okay? So when you think of smell, emotions can evoke strong emotional reactions. Our olfactory receptors are directly connected to the limbic system, the most ancient and primitive part of the brain, which is the seat of emotions. So think about things like that, right? Someone comes into your office, somebody comes into your spa, and you're diffusing something that is uplifting and it's happy, right? What is that going to immediately do to that person? They're continuously want to be drawn to that experience and that feeling that they felt when they were in your chair or they were on your bed. That is a huge part of connecting that experience to those emotions. Even something as simple as an aroma in a shampoo or an aroma in hand soap, I talked about hand soap before too, right? Can actually elevate how a person's experience is and make it more memorable. Even something as simple as cleaning products, right? I used to think that in order to get rid of all the toxins, I could have no fragrance, but we know that that's not true. When you have pure things like pure essential oils, those are safe for your clients. Those are safe for your patients. But this is going to create an experience that keeps them, again, thinking about you over and over and over again. And so you can see some of these things pictured, right? Love the variety that you can offer to people. So I want you to think about all of these 5 senses and how they really connect to neuromarketing and expanding and helping to explode your business and your practice. How are you going to stand out? What can you do that's just a little bit different than what everybody else is doing? So with this final couple slides, I just want you to think about this. I love how Young Living is a company that offers all of these solutions. So it brings everything together that actually can help truly grow your business and truly grow your practice. And so you'll notice that I always have a plan 1 and a plan 2. So maybe you heard some of these things and you said, you know what, I need to do some things when it comes to marketing. I need to take my profession to the next level and I'm ready to jump all in. So I implore you, start with plan 1. Get the whole collection of some of the things that will really help propel and get you started with that. And you can do that for as low as $465.28. And the beautiful thing about that too is you can put it on the subscribe to save and actually get 46 cash back on that purchase. Or maybe you're saying, I want to get started. I don't know if I can invest that much quite yet. Then for you, plan 2 might be a better fit. So with plan 2, what we would suggest you to do, oh, that's funny. I have month 1 and month 3. But you're going to do this month 1, month 2, and month 3, and you're going to break those things down. So where you would start is in month 1, you would get started with one of the essential oil bundles. And those range anywhere from $165 to $265. And then in your second month, not your first month, you would get the Ninja Red. And that would be the combo pack. And for that would be about $156. And then in month 3, you would actually get the Vitality Culinary Bundle and the 3-pack of grapefruit bergamot drops, as well as the 3-pack lavender lemon drops. And that's $144.28. And so you could break that up, but you would really have a strong foundation for not only being able to, again, market yourself, but also really brand and bring in the type of clientele, your ideal customer, and fierce loyal customers that want to keep coming back again and again and again. So with that, let's connect. If you have any questions, like I said, I will stop the share on the live on Facebook and I will stop the recording and I will open it up for anyone that has questions. I would love to connect with each and every one of you. Again, this is something I'm super passionate about. It made all the difference in my profession, really understanding how I could connect deeper and on a deeper level and how I could make myself stand out from other beauty professionals. So with that, I'll stop the stream. And then, did we stop the recording?